Hand to hand, toe to toe, nose to nose, close. You exhale, I breathe in. My first memories of coming to Kelvingrove are of being very small and walking into what felt like a ginormous entrance hall. I came here quite a lot with my parents when I was young, and I don't really remember the first time exactly, but I do remember that sense of there being so much to see, and it felt like there was no end to it, and that you were just in this kind of magical world where you could see knights in shining armour alongside really beautiful paintings. As I've gotten older, Kelvingrove has come to be a place where I can just have a bit of space and a bit of peace. It's become somewhere to escape and relax a little bit and just to get away from the outside world. I started writing poetry, I think because I had ideas and needed a way to express them, really. And sometimes the idea will guide you to what form is right for it. And it so happened that it was a sculpture here at Kelvingrove that went on to influence one of the poems that I wrote. This is the sculpture, Memorial to a Marriage by Patricia Cronin, and I first saw this at the Gallery of Modern Art in the Shout exhibition in 2009. It was the biggest exhibition at that time I'd seen referring to LGBTQ lives, and at that time I was still coming to terms with my identity and still exploring that. So when I went into the exhibition space and saw the sculpture, it really began to mean something to me, and it has stuck with me ever since. My thought process for writing the poem was, first of all, LGBT History Month was coming up, and I wanted a chance to explore something that was meaningful to me in relation to my identity. What really helped me develop the poem was being able to focus in on various details of the sculpture, even little tiny things like the little creases in the bed linen that to me indicate that there's a presence. You know, when something's as intangible as a feeling, what the sculpture really does is give it a space and a weight that I think was really important when we were thinking about ideas of invisibility and seeing yourself represented. So all of that kind of came together. Knowing that the artist of the sculpture that meant so much to me, and no doubt many other people, has read my work in response to it, was kind of incredible, and also something that I never anticipated or really thought would happen. It all happened over Twitter one weekend morning. I had replied to someone who had shared the sculpture as a museum object that they enjoyed, and I replied saying, oh, I'd written a poem about this, and Kelvingrove picked up on it online and included Patricia Cronin in the Twitter thread, and it just all went from there. And then she responded, and as this is the world we live in, then she followed me, and then that becomes one of the best moments, which sounds silly, but again, kind of means something as well. I think when your experience isn't necessarily the default experience, when you do see something that you can connect with, it just has that bit more impact. You're creating, in a way, your own reference points from scratch to tell you that who you are is okay. And Patricia's sculpture does that for me. It's the morning, before the papers. There's sleep in your eyes. Dreamy, half-whispered words surf along the sunrise. We are golden in this embrace, formed of grace and patience, we love, which every law in every land says we do not deserve. There's a defiance in the warmth, a roar in the whispers, edges to the tummy rolls and curves of thighs and the heft. The permanence of stone or bronze challenges. Test our mettle. If you won't make space, we'll make a monument to ourselves.